Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I just want to give you an update on my tests and really just give you my experience, tell you my experience with the ultrasound and the HSG test. So on Monday, 2 days ago, I went into the doctor early in the morning to do the ultrasound. The technician called me in and she told me to lay down on the bed. And she said just to unbutton and lower my pants pretty much to like the hairline. And she said that we're first gonna do that and then we would do the transvaginal ultrasound. So pretty much I lowered my pants, she told me to scoot over closer to her and she turned off the lights and pretty much put jelly on my stomach and just did a few minutes of ultrasound over my stomach or over my belly. Nothing crazy, just a few minutes, super quick. She took a few pictures or whatever. And then she said, okay, you're gonna empty out your bladder, go to the bathroom, empty out your bladder. And when you come back, remove all your clothes from the waist down. And then put the paper blanket over your waist and then she will come back. So I, went to the bathroom, peed, took off my pants, underwear, whatever else. And put the paper blanket, I don't know what that's called, over my waist. She walked back in and she said to put my legs on the stirrups. The little ultrasound wand, she put lube on it, then put a condom over it, then put a little bit more lube on top. And she put it close to my hoo-ha, and then she said, you put it inside, which I thought it was a little bit weird because I was like, well, she's gonna be doing this anyways. I don't know if that's normal, but she said it's less invasive, so here's a wand, and that's it. So I put it in and then she took over from there, and that took several minutes. It was much longer than the one on my stomach, and she was just obviously taking pictures, and that was pretty much it. She then said, I asked her if I should make a follow-up appointment to get results, and she said yes. So I put my clothes back on, and then she spoke to the person at the front to make an appointment. And I made the appointment for 2 weeks from then. Well, from today now. Today's Wednesday, so 2 weeks from now, I'm gonna have a follow-up appointment to discuss all the results from the blood test, the ultrasound, and the HSG, and the semen analysis. So forward to 24 hours later, I had the HSG test in the middle of the day. And at that point, I already was taking my antibiotics. I already forgot the name of it, sorry. And I took 2 Advils an hour before. So on my way there, I took my 2 Advils, showed up, signed in. Leading up to it, I had done some research of more or less what to expect. So I read online that, a bunch of forums, discussions that said that, it can be painful, but depending on if your fallopian tubes are blocked or not, like how painful it would be. So going into it, I already knew it was gonna be painful. However, never in a million years did I expect it to be as painful as it was. So I'm gonna go back. Checked in, did what I need to do. The lady at the front gives me a cup to, she said, pee in it, drop it off in this room right next door. The lady then calls me in, and I'm not sure why they did the urine test. I'm assuming to confirm that I wasn't pregnant. I'm not 100% sure. They just asked me to pee in a cup, gave it to them. Then the lady was asking me a few medical questions, like if I'm allergic to anything or whatever else, the basics. Then another lady called me to, charge me the copay or whatever it was, and then asked me if I was okay with a medical student to be inside, and I was like, yeah, sure. Personally, I don't care. I mean, I get it. And she said it was a female, so I was like, perfect, that's fine. So they called me in and they took me to a back waiting area, and it was kind of like in the hallway. There was like 4 or 5 chairs that was in the hallway. And so I was there for just, man, it was fast. It was like a few minutes. I don't even think 5 minutes had passed. So the lady calls me in, another technician calls me in, and she opens the door, and it's like what you see on the left is one door, right in front is another door, and to the right is just a wall. So it's like 3 doors. It's a small room. And she says, okay, you're gonna go into here to the left, and it's the size of a closet. And in there, she's like, go ahead and take everything off from the waist down, put on 2 booties, wrap yourself with the paper blanket, and then put all your clothes inside this bag. So I'm gonna go ahead and insert that here. So I was in there for, I think I was longer in there than I was in the first 2 waiting rooms. And then she came back in and then led me into the other door, which was the room that was, at this point, I was nervous. Because before, I knew it was gonna be painful, and I was relaxed. I wasn't tense, I wasn't anything. But the second I walked into that room, oh man, I just saw the doctor, I saw the medical student, and then the technician, and I saw the machine. I don't know if it's an x-ray machine, I don't know what it is exactly. And I just saw the room, and I was like, at that point, I started to get nervous. So she tells me, lay down on the table, well, step up, there's like a step. She says, stand up, and then she grabbed the paper blanket from me. She kind of covered me from the doctor, which, at that point, he's gonna see everything anyways. She covered me and she said, okay, lay down. And on the bed was, I don't know what it was, but it was like right below, like right underneath the x-ray. The x-ray machine was over the bed. So I kind of like had to like scoop myself into the bed. And she's like, scoot down and you're gonna feel like this little bump. So she's like, put your butt on the bump. And then on top of that bump was like a pee-pee pad, like that's what it looked like a doggy pad or whatever, pee-pee pad. And so she then put the blanket over me again, and the doctor was explaining and talking to me and asking me, how old I am and whatever else, how long we've been trying, few questions, to introduce the medical student. And then he was like, okay, well, scooch down, but keep your legs bent on the bed, because there wasn't any stirrups, so keep your legs on the bed. So then at that point, the technician could tell like I was getting nervous, and I was like tapping my fingers on the bed, and I was like, okay. She's like, are you okay? And I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. So then the doctor put in the speculum, and then I can see these what look like giant swabs. Like, I've never seen swabs so big, and it appeared that there was like iodine on it. And so he, I guess, cleaned it up, or I don't know what he did. He put it inside, he inserted it and started like, I don't know, moving it around. I feel like traumatized from yesterday's experience. And then they took out the tool to do the actual test. And let me tell you, that thing was massive and scary. Like, I clearly did not do enough research about this test. I was more concerned about the pain. I wasn't even thinking about what tools were gonna be used. Like, I don't know, I guess, whatever. I had never met anyone who had done it. I guess I didn't know what to search for. Or maybe just in my mind, maybe I just didn't want to know exactly how it was done. I just wanted to almost just get it over with. But either way, the tool that was used was ridiculous. Like, I was like, holy moly. Like, usually when things are done to me, like, I want to know, like, what is that? Like, I'm very curious and I'm like always watching. But this time around, like I saw it and I can see inside was a clear liquid. And so I immediately turned my face and I was just like closing my eyes. It was just like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And he's like, you're gonna feel a pinch. And I'm like, okay. And then I was like, he did it, he started it, and I was like, oh my God, is it supposed to hurt that much? Is it supposed to hurt that much? And it started to get cramping. It was just like getting more and more and more intense. Oh, and mind you, let's backtrack a little bit. At this point, like he had turned off the lights and then started, he was like, okay, we're gonna do this. Turned off the lights and he was like, the screen, you can see it. It's right next to you, you know, if you wanna watch it. He started and the cramps started and it was just like intense pain. And at some point, I started to pass out. The pain was, I mean, you know, people were saying online like, oh, it feels like really bad cramps. No, it doesn't. It's straight pain. It's a pain that I don't wish on anyone. It was so excruciating and so, the pain came on so fast. It was barely even gradual. Like, it was just like light cramps, just pain. Pain. And I wasn't screaming, but I was being loud and I was grabbing my face like, I'm gonna pass out. And then I can feel like, I don't even know, like the feeling of passing out, like I just felt something like just leave. Like I was just like, oh. And then I remember that the technician was like with a folder or envelope, sorry, not even an envelope. She had like a manila folder. And she was like fanning me in my face. And then, to be honest, it was, in my experience, it was fast. It was fast. Luckily, it was fast. But it was so painful. I don't even remember when he took anything out. Like, I don't remember him taking out the speculum. I don't remember anything. Like, the pain was so bad. Like, I couldn't focus on anything. The only thing I do remember in the middle of the pain was that there must be blockage, because the women, the articles, the discussions, forums, whatever that I had read, the women were like, if there's blockage, there's definitely gonna be pain, like you're gonna feel it. So at that moment when it was happening to me, what was crossing my mind was like, oh my God, like it's blocked, like it's so blocked, like this is like excruciating pain, like, and I can feel myself, like I was telling him like, it hurts, I'm gonna pass out. And I was like wanting, like I was trying to move my body back, like trying to get away from him, but I knew that I couldn't. So I was just like, oh my God. The technician was fanning me, or the nurse was fanning me. She told the med student, turn on the lights, I want to see her lips. And she was like, oh, your lips, they didn't look like they lost color. And I remember saying like, I feel like I can't hear that well. Like it almost sounded like distant sound when they were talking. And I was laying there for like a minute or two, and they're like, oh, do you think you can sit up? I'm like, yeah. So they helped me up, and the med student brought me water, and then the doctor was like, are you sure you're okay? I was like, yeah. He's like, you feel shaking? I'm like, yeah, I feel shaking. And like the way he said, like, are you sure? Are you okay? It was kind of like, he's like, I don't think you look okay. Not that he said it, but the way he looked, like, yeah, you're saying you're okay, but you don't look okay. So I was like, no, I'm fine. And then like once he saw that it was getting better, he was like, look, you can see on the screen your fallopian tubes are clear. Everything is clear. No, in my mind, that second I was like, all of that pain. And it's like, everything's clear. This is perfect news, but no forum, no discussion, no article could have prepared me for the amount of pain that I went through. The tears were just like rolling down my face, and I was like so shaken. They gave me a tissue to like, wipe my tears, and then the nurse or technician helped me out of the bed, and she walked me into the bathroom, which was connected to the room. And she closed the door behind her, and she was like, I want to stay in here for you to change, get back into your clothes. And I told her, no, like, I'm honestly, like, I feel much better. There's going to be some bleeding, and not to have sex. I can't remember if she said 24 to 48 hours, but in my mind I was like, either way we can't, because Matt's gonna be doing his semen analysis on Friday, so, and they told him that he can't have sex or do anything for 48 hours before. So I was like, either way, I was like, when she said she can't have sex, I was like, that's not a problem. With the way I'm feeling, I don't even want to. Like, don't even come near me. And then the other thing she said, like, oh, if you see like more bleeding than normal, like it should be like light bleeding or like spotting, to call, or like if I get a fever to also call. I saw her in the hallway when I was leaving, and she like reassured, you know, just told me again, like, please, you know, if you get a fever or you know you're bleeding more than you should, call us. So on the way home, at this point it was 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and Miami traffic, you gotta love it. Tons and tons of traffic at all times. I had to drive in traffic for an hour, and at this point, like, I think for at least 30 minutes on my way home, I was just like, the tears were just rolling down my face, and I felt like shocked. I felt so shocked at what I had just experienced. I was texting my husband, and he was in a meeting all day, which is why he couldn't come, and we worked together, so I completely understood it. And not that I even asked him, because I was like, they even told me, like, you don't need someone to come with you. I wish I could have brought him, or I would even have asked him to come, because I was shocked. But nothing could have prepared me for the amount of pain. And I'm shocked at women who say, like, oh, it's not that painful, it's not that much of a big deal. Like, for me, from my experience, it was the most painful, and I almost feel like it was like traumatizing. The whole day I felt like almost depressed and sad. So at some point while I was driving, I texted my husband and said, you know, please come home as soon as you can. It was so painful. I just want to cuddle, and I just don't want to do anything. So I got home an hour later, and pretty much all I did was get into my pajamas and lay down in bed. Unfortunately, my husband didn't get home until 7 something, and you know, on his way home he asked how I was doing and if I needed anything from the store, and I told him no. You know, I had already taken, you know, I actually took 3 Tylenols or Advils, because I was having a little bit of cramping. I just didn't want to do anything. You know, I was even explaining to him, like, over the phone, like, what the whole experience was like, and I was like, Matt, and like, I feel like still emotional from it. Like, I'm still like shaken from it. And he came home, and you know, he bought dinner, and that was pretty much it. I went to bed, and that was it. And even this morning, my husband's like, are you okay? And I was just like, you know, I just keep repeating that whole experience. It just wasn't fun. But, you know, luckily it's all over. So now, today's Wednesday. My husband on Friday morning has his semen analysis. So, you know, hopefully that's, you know, for him that's quick, you know, it's not a big deal. Nothing close to what us women have to go through, that's for sure. And yeah, then a week, so exactly 2 weeks from today, I have an appointment with my doctor. I asked my husband if he can come with me, but you know, it all depends with work. See if he can. But if not, no big deal, you know, I usually just update him with what's going on. So yeah, so next time you see me, it'll be to tell you the experience that my husband had with the semen analysis. You know, I'm curious to see how that works. It must be a little bit awkward, but we'll see. You know, let me know below if you've had an HSG or any, you know, any infertility issues or any tests that you've taken, you know. But until then, wish us luck. Bye.